He got into a booth. First bell, second bell. It was routine just as boarding the school bus had once been routine. After the first day, they had learned that the staff worked from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m., a work schedule just like their fathers. Routine, routine. The wait from 9 when the staff came until 10, when the public came, seemed long. Claudia and Jamie had decided that the washrooms were good for the shorter evening wait, when the help left at the same time as the visitors, but the washrooms were less satisfactory for the long morning wait, especially after Jamie's close call that first morning. So time from 8:45 until some safe time after 10 in the mornings was spent under various beds. They always checked for dust under the bed first. And for once Claudia's fussiness was not the reason. Reason was the reason. A dustless floor meant that it had been cleaned very recently, and they stood less chance of being caught by a mop. Jamie stood on the toilet seat waiting. He leaned his head against the wall of the booth and braced himself for what would happen next. The guard would come in and make a quick check of his station. Jamie still felt a ping during that short inspection. That was the only part that still wasn't quite routine, and that's why he braced himself. Then the lights would be turned out. Jamie would wait 12 minutes, lag time, Claudia called it, and emerge from hiding. Except the guard didn't come, and Jamie couldn't relax until after he felt that final ping, and the light stayed on. Jamie checked his watch 10 minutes. Within 5 minutes, he shook his arm and held the watch up to his ear. It was ticking slower than his heart and much more softly. What was wrong? They had caught Claudia? Now they would look for him? He'd pretend he didn't speak English. He wouldn't answer any questions. Then he heard the door open. Footsteps. More footsteps than usual. What was happening? The hardest part was that every corpuscle of Jamie's 9-year-old self was throbbing with readiness to come, and he had to bind up all that energy into a quiet lump. It was like trying to wrap a loose peck of potatoes into a neat four-cornered package. Then he managed to freeze. He heard the voices of 2 men talking over the sound of running water in the sink. I guess they expect even more people tomorrow. Yeah, Sundays are always jammed up anyway. It'll be easier to move the people in and out of the Great Hall. Yeah, 2 feet of marble. What do you figure it weighs? I don't know. Whatever it weighs, it has to be handled delicate, like it's a real angel. Come on, they probably have the new pedestal ready. We can start. Do you think they'll have as many people as they had for the Mona Lisa? Nah, the Mona Lisa was here for a short time only. Besides, it's the real McCoy. I think this one's... The men left, turning off the light as they did so. Jamie heard the door close before he melted. Legs first. He sat down on the seat as he allowed the familiar darkness, as well as a new realization to fill him. They were a moving angel. Did Claudia know? They wouldn't have women moving the statue. There would be no one in the ladies' room washing up. Who would give her the information? He would, by mental telepathy. He would think a message to Claudia. He folded his hands across his forehead and concentrated. Stay put, Claudia. Stay put. Stay put. Stay put. Claudia, stay put. He thought that Claudia would not approve of the grammar in his mental telegram. She would want him to think stay in place. But he didn't want to weaken the message by varying it one bit. He continued thinking, stay put. He must have thought stay put exactly hard enough, for Claudia did just that. They never knew exactly why she did, but she did. Perhaps she sensed some sounds that told her that the museum was not yet empty. Maybe she was just too tired from running around in Central Park. Maybe they were not meant to get caught. Maybe they were meant to make the discovery they made. They waited for miles and miles of time before they came out of hiding. At last, they met in their bedroom. Claudia was sorting the laundry when Jamie got there, in the dark, mostly by feel. Although there is no real difference between boys' stretch socks and girls', neither ever considered wearing the others. Children who have always had separate bedrooms don't. Claudia turned when she heard Jamie come up and said, "They moved the statue." "How did you know? Did you get my message?" "Message? I saw the statue on my way here. They have a dim light on it. I guess so that the night guard won't trip over it." Jamie replied, "We're lucky we didn't get caught." Claudia never thought very hard about the plus luck she had. She concentrated on the minus luck. Plus luck she had. She concentrated on the minus luck. But they held us up terribly. I planned on taking baths tonight, too. I really can't stand one more night without a bath. "I don't mind," Jamie said. Come on, Sir James, to our bath. Bring your most elegant pajamas. The ones embroidered in gold with silver tassels will do. Where, dear Lady Claudia, dost thou expect to bathe? In the fountain, Sir James, in the fountain. Jamie extended his arm, which was draped with his striped flannel pajamas, and said, Lady Claudia, I knew that sooner or later you would get me to that restaurant. It makes me furious to think that I must explain that restaurant to you, Saxonburg. I'm going to make you take me to lunch in there one day soon. I just this minute because determined to get you into the museum. You'll see later how I'm going to do it. Now about the restaurant. It is built about a gigantic fountain. Water in the fountain is sprayed from dolphins sculptured in bronze. The dolphins appeared to be leaping out of the water. On their backs are figures representing the arts, figures that look like water sprites. It is a joy to sit around that wonderful fountain and to snack petite fours and sip espresso coffee. I'll bet that you'd even forget your blasted ulcer while you ate there. Lady Claudia, and Sir James quietly walked to the entrance of the restaurant. They easily climbed under the velvet rope that meant that the restaurant was closed to the public. Of course they were not the public. They shed their clothes and waded into the fountain. Claudia had taken powdered soap from the restroom. She had ground it out into a paper towel that morning. Even though it was freezing cold, she enjoyed her bath. Jamie, too, enjoyed his bath for the same reason. When he got into the pool, she found bumps on the bottom, smooth bumps. Then he reached down to fill one. He found that it moved. He could even pick it up. He felt its cool roughness and splashed way over to Claudia. In come, Claudia, in come, he whispered. Claudia understood immediately and began to scoop up bumps she had felt on the bottom of the fountain. The bumps were pennies and nickels people had pitched into the fountain to make a wish. At least 4 people had thrown in dimes and 1 had tossed in a quarter. Someone very rich must have tossed in this quarter, Jamie whispered. Someone very poor, Claudia corrected. Rich people have only penny wishes. Together they collected $2.87. They couldn't hold more in their hands. They were shivering when they got out. Drying themselves as best they could with paper towels, also taken from the restroom, they hurried into their pajamas and shoes. They finished their preparations for the night, took a small snack, and decided it was safe to wander back into the great hall to look again at their angel. I wish I could hug her, Claudia whispered. They probably bugged her already. Maybe that light is part of the alarm. Better not touch. You'll set it off. I said hug, not bug. Why would I want to bug her? That makes more sense than to hug her. Silly. Shows how much you know. When you hug someone, you learn something else about them. An important something else. Jamie shrugged his shoulders. Both looked at Angel a long time. What do you think? Jamie asked. Did he or didn't he? Claudia answered. A scientist doesn't make up his mind until he's examined all the evidence. You sure don't sound like a scientist. What kind of scientist would want to hug a statue? Claudia was embarrassed, so she spoke sternly. We'll go to bed now, and we'll think about the statue very hard. Don't fall asleep until you've really thought about the statue, and Michelangelo and the entire Italian Renaissance. And so they went to bed. But lying in bed just before going to sleep is the worst time for organized thinking. It is the best time for free thinking. Ideas drift like clouds in an undecided breeze, taking first this direction and then that. It was very difficult for Jamie to control his thoughts when he was tired, sleepy, and lying on his back. He never liked to get involved just before falling asleep. But Claudia had planned on their thinking. She was good at planning. So think he did. Clouds bearing thoughts of the Italian Renaissance drifted away. Thoughts of home and more thoughts of home settled down. Do you miss home? He asked Claudia. Not too much, she confessed. I haven't thought about it much. Jamie was quiet for a minute. Then he said, We probably have no conscience. I think we ought to be homesick. Do you think Mom and Dad raised us wrong? They're not very mean, you know. Don't you think that they should make us miss them? Claudia was silent. Jamie waited. Did you hear my question, Claude? Yes, I heard your question. I'm thinking, she said. She was quiet a while longer. Then she asked, Have you ever been homesick? Sure. When was the last time? That day Dad dropped us off at Aunt Zell's when he took Mom to the hospital to give Kevin. Me too, that day, Claudia admitted. But of course I was much younger then. Why do you suppose we were homesick that day? We've been gone much longer than that now. Claudia thought. I guess we were worried. Boy, had I known that she was going to end up with Kevin, I would have known why we were worried. I remember you sucked your thumb and carried around that old blanket the whole day. Aunt Zell kept trying to get the blanket away from you so that she could wash it. It stank. Jamie giggled. Yeah, I guess homesickness is like sucking your thumb. It's what happens when you're not very sure of yourself. Or not very well trained, Claudia added. Heavens knows we're well trained. Just look how nicely we've managed. It's really their fault if we're not homesick. Jamie was satisfied. Claudia was more. I'm glad you asked about homesickness, Jamie. However, I feel older now. But of course, that's mostly because I've been the oldest child forever, and I'm extremely well adjusted. They went to sleep then. Michelangelo, Angel, and the entire Italian Renaissance waited for them until morning. And there's the end of chapter 5.